I mean, given permission to share this with you, there was an event earlier this year. It was a virtual conference, 3D virtual conference, where over 2,000 digital entrepreneurs and online business owners came together to connect, to learn, and to network. I had the pleasure of both attending the event and presenting at the event. It's something you might be interested in. They're looking to hold it again next year, and I have put a link down below if you want to check it out and get on the waiting list. But what I want to share with you is the presentation that I provided there. Now, it's not my event, and it was part of the VIP package, but I've been given permission. I cover 3 really important points in this presentation on how AI will either intentionally or unintentionally impact your business going through into 2025.
By the end of this presentation, you will know how to build your own digital team with AI without compromising your authenticity, how Dave saves more than 2 working days per week with AI, and the silent AI trap many are walking into without knowing it. Now, I myself know Dave knows what he's talking about. He and I have done some AI coaching, and I have learned some processes from him. So no one better to bring to the stage than Dave. Hey, Dave, welcome to the main stage. How are you?
Much appreciated. Really look forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, I know you have some slides to share, so I'm going to let you pull those up and then let you roll.
Who is your business hero? They might be alive or dead. It could be like a Steve Jobs, or it could be Bill Gates, or maybe an Alex Hormozi. It could be somebody a little bit more relatable, maybe one of the speakers that we've had over the last couple of days that you really resonated with from where you are in your business right now. And of course, it could be our hosts, it could be Gabe or Gillian. But I want you to think of one person in particular that just really resonates with you as a business leader. Now, imagine for a moment you're standing talking with one of your friends, and you're just talking about your businesses, and you're talking about some of the challenges you may be having, some of the decisions you've got to make, maybe a little bit of frustrations, just not get the traction and so on. You're mid-conversation, and then this business hero of yours walks up to you both, pull out a coin, and they say, heads or tails? You know, heads. Your friend says tails. Flip the coin. They have a look. They go, it's tails. You turn to your friend and they say, I'm offering to work in your business for 1 month, exclusively, pro bono, completely for free, to help you take your business to the next level. Now, at this point, you're getting a little bit jealous, but then your jaw drops. They turn around to this person and say, I have so many menial, repetitive tasks I need to get done. I'm going to bring you in as my assistant so I can get a bit more time back. I don't know how you would feel about that, but I would be like, what a waste of an opportunity. I just want to smack them over the back of the head. But that is how most people adopt AI into their business. Now, I love working with people like you, entrepreneurs, people that think differently. Great ideas, they're visionaries, they see the possibilities and they bring them into reality. People like you that got big hearts and you want to change the world. But what I love most about working with people like you is that you walk through life awake with your eyes open. You see the opportunities, the connections, and you engage and play with them. And we know that most people sleepwalk through life. And it's those ones, I'm afraid, that are going to have some of the challenges and going to have a bit of a wake-up call. But for us, as entrepreneurs, there's massive opportunities being presented to us right now. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to take everything that you think and, more importantly, feel about AI and just temporarily suspend it. You can revisit it, readopt it if you like, but just for the next 20 minutes, just suspend it with me and follow with me, okay? So in this presentation, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, go. The 3 is going to be the 3 traps that we need to be aware of and we need to avoid to prevent our business getting kind of pulled under. I'm going to share with you the only 2 ingredients that you need to build an AI team member or a digital assistant, whatever you want to call them, and the 1 step that I want you to take next so that you can go and authentically engage with your audience at scale without burnout. Let's start with the traps, or slip hazards in this case. The first one is trying to resist AI. Bear with me here. AI is the next biggest technological advance that we have had since the internet. It is nothing more than that. It is nothing less than that. But that bit of history gives us a massive clue. It shows us what is about to happen. And this is really important. Now, for those of us who are old enough to remember before the internet, and perhaps even be in business before the internet, we know that when that came around, there was a lot of confusion. What's going to happen? How's it going to land? I don't really understand this. I don't get what a website is. Why do you want one? Then there was a lot of fear mongering. And anybody who knows what their amygdala is, understand that is what the media use to make money. We're seeing the exact same thing again. The technological advance that happened pre-internet and post-internet is about to happen pre-AI and post-AI. If you were a coach pre-internet, you worked with people and transformed lives and got a massive amount of contribution from that. Now, you're still a coach, but you're working in an online-enabled business, just like everybody else. And you're still transforming lives, but you're able to do so with greater efficiency and greater scale. We are pre-AI. In a post-AI business, enabled business, that person will still be a coach and they will still be transforming lives, but they will be doing it at an even more efficient scale and with a greater reach and still getting that sense of contribution. And if you understand that, you understand how to put AI into your business. My favorite quote and approach to life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Think of Blockbuster and Netflix. I'll leave it at that. The second trap is AI illiteracy. Now, I'm not going to spend any time on this concept. It's kind of self-explanatory. As a human, I would say that everybody needs to up their AI literacy, even if it's just a base competency level. But as a CEO in your business, I would say that you have a responsibility to your business to become AI literate. And that's what I'm here to help you do. The third trap, I'm saving to the end. I'll be very clear why I've done that at the end. Now, if you've not met me before, I've spent more than 20 years in business. I've worked in large businesses, small businesses, helping founders in consultancy, contract work. I've been doing coaching and education. Now, this breadth of experience that I have had, and this breadth of exposure I have had, has allowed me to gain a lot of different insights. One of the insights I'm going to share with you today is that when people adopt technology and processes into their business, especially AI, it is almost never the adoption of the technology that is the issue. It is one of these three things. It is usually a lack of strategic clarity, what they need to get done. What's the big lever that's going to move your business forward? And if they do figure out that what, well, how do they do it? How do they deliver against that? What's the process? And if they do get the how, then they get to the point where they're, okay, what tasks do I need to do? And then they realize the number of tasks, and it feels like they've got 100 different tasks, each with a different skill set that they need to do in order to deliver the strategic objective. And for solopreneurs in particular, or micro businesses, that can get very dejecting and it can lead to burnout. But not for you. You are jumping because you've learned how to apply AI holistically into your business. You can take the best practice from the large organizations and wrap around you teams of advisors and boards, coaches and mentors, and subject matter experts to help you facilitate what is best for your business as a CEO. Now, the way that this works is it challenges your own thinking. It uncovers the unknown unknowns, the blind spots. And it also allows you to upskill in areas really, really quickly to make very informed decisions. If you're an external processor, this is the type of thing you need to be doing. From that, then you can make a really informed decision as to how you want to do it and bring in some skill sets to put out some concrete plans and some detailed logical steps. And then, and only then, do you build your little workforce of AI assistants. This is the process that I encourage you to adopt. Now, we're going to change gear a little bit here, and we're going to get very practical. And I'm hoping that my flipping between screens and doing some live demos does not work for you. I'm going to go fairly quickly. I'm going to do a couple of demos. Now, everything I'm showing here, I've got this little mini course that I have for you, and all the resources I'm showing you are in there. So you can cut and paste and save and download them to your computer and all the rest of it. So I'll go fast, but don't worry. You're going to have the time later to go through it step by step and get some practice in. Okay. So I said that we're 2 ingredients and only 2 ingredients to an AI system. And they are the instructions, also known as the prompt, and the knowledge base, also known as the context. Actually, this is kind of blindingly obvious when you sit and think about it. If you bring somebody into your business or a VA or something like that, you can tell them what to do. And in your business, you might have SOPs, standard operating procedures, on how to do certain tasks. So you say, this is what I want you to do in our business. These are the steps we need to take that. But they also need to know about your business. Like, what is your business? What industry are you in? Who do you serve? Who's your customer? Things like that. Once they've got those 2 together, they're off and running. It's all good. That's exactly what we do with AI. So let's have a little look at demo. In this particular demo, what we're going to look at is building an email responder. So we're getting a lot of customer support emails coming in and we need to respond to them. This is very operational, it's down at the bottom. And I've created a fake company called Lead Nexus, and we're going to go in and have a look at how this works. So I'm hoping you can now see the ChatGPT interface and some files. If you're not used to ChatGPT, check out the mini course, it's all good. If you are, you'll know this is where you do the conversation in here. These are your threads of the conversations you've had. And up here, these are called GPTs. That's what OpenAI call them, but we call them digital assistants. Okay? So let's select one of the assistants. We'll have a little shot of it, and then we'll go and see how it's built. So this is a customer service email support. Now, if I go into this document here, and let's just say we have received these 3 emails in the last 10 minutes or so. This first one is customers having an issue processing their payment. They're not quite sure what to do. The second one here is wondering when to expect results from their SEO campaign, because Lead Nexus is an SEO campaign company. And this third one is locked themselves out of their account. Surprise, surprise. So let's copy this. And for a moment, what we'll do is put it in and we'll ask our digital assistant to help us draft some emails. So it's read the emails, and now what it's doing is drafting a response. So this is the one, and this is how it's handling. So it says, yeah, thank you for reaching out. Sorry to hear about the trouble you're having, blah, blah, blah. And then it takes them through the process of how to sort out their payment issue. This one here is to do with the campaign, and it's saying, yeah, thanks for reaching out. And it's talking about organic ones, or it's talking about paid campaigns and the difference. And this last one is to do with locking their account. Thanks for contacting us. Sorry to hear about blah, blah, blah. And here's your thing. So this is what it is. Now, this is the type of thing that can be helpful. If you've already got a procedure, you can basically pre-draft a lot of your work, and then you just read over it, amend it, and send it out. Or likewise, if you've got your VA, they can spend less time working on this type of task and more time helping you find new clients. Let's have a look. Well, let's look at the back end of this, shall we? So if I go to edit this assistant, there's a title, that's just for my reference. There's a description, that's just so I remember what I did. And what you'll see here is the 2 elements. There's the instructions, just here. Let me open up those instructions. Your role, you are a professional and warm customer support assistant. And here is your task. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Step 3, do that. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And from a knowledge-based perspective, well, what does it need to know? It needs to know a little bit about the company. So I've got the company bio. I've also got some information about the customers, what type of customers we're working with. And then we have a knowledge base. So these are things like frequently asked questions or the processes and flows to go through. And that is how it is made. Let's have a look at another one. So I would get shot if I didn't include some form of content, repurposing assistant. So let me take this example here. So this is actually the transcript from a Jim Rohn video. So you can see it's quite large. So let's just pretend this is one of our blogs or something like that, a long form content that we're really proud of. We bring it into here. And what we're going to do is put it into this assistant. And what this assistant is going to do is create essentially an Instagram post engaging about the content of our new blog. And then the call to action is to go and check it out. You can do this for a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever it is. And that's the idea here. And we might say, create an image to go with this. We hit go. Then what it will do is create a square image because, okay, of course, it's an Instagram post that we're doing. And if we just scroll back up so that if you're watching a replay of this, you can pause it if you like. And then it's got this. Now this, because you've got Wi-Fi signals and stuff, this is all to do with the Lead Nexus company. But this is why it's really important that you train these guys for yourself, for your own authentic voice, so it represents your company. So what we'll do is very quickly is, if I go to my GPTs here, and I would do create one, let's go Spanish translate, and then I'm going to just do translate input to Spanish. That could be the instructions there, yeah? So the instructions don't have to be complicated. I had quite detailed instructions because I think it's quite important, but you don't have to have them. You can just tell it to do something like translate to Spanish. And then I might just put in a description, say, as a translator, as if that's not already obvious. Okay. And then you hit create. And there we go. Put this here. And come up. Right. And you'll see we now have a translator assistant here. So let's take our bio. Let's take our company bio. What does it look like? This is our company bio here. And what we're going to do is we'll take that company bio, pop it in, and we'll hand it over to our translator assistant. And translator assistant that reads it. And now it's translating it to Spanish for us. So that is how easy it is to create a digital assistant. You only need two things: the instructions and the knowledge base that you want to see it. You want it to see. And in this case, it doesn't need any further knowledge. We're all good. So we've done this one, we've done this one, we've done this one. We know how to build an assistant, what the two ingredients are. And in the course, I go through strategic ones, like coaches that you can have a conversation with, some tactical ones to help build the SOPs. Hint, take the SOPs from this one and plug them into your operational GPTs, and you're good to go. Now, I also want to show you a second way to use assistants. Now, this one, you don't want to use straight away. Your business has to be at a certain stage before you really want to do this. We talked yesterday about automating things too early. But when you're ready for it, we can do lots of different things. This is where it gets mental. You know that email responder GPT we had? That's this guy here, right? If we've got this tuned up, we're happy with it. Well, anytime an email comes into our inbox to customer service, then it can get passed to our response AI assistant. Then it can draft the response and save it into our draft folder. So we don't need to go in and out of ChatGPT anymore. We just open up our draft folder, read through what we've got to do, and send them off once we've edited them. Again, similarly, if we post some piece of long-form content, pillar content, that can then trigger an event where it creates some posts for us. We might have a human intervention thing here where we review it and hit go. And then we can fire it off to different parts of our social channels to let them know that our content's there, ready to check out. But this is where I think AI is best applied in your business, in processes. So let's take an example where a customer comes up and fills in your form on your website, maybe a request form or something like that. That then triggers an event where the customer information is automatically saved into your knowledge management system. This could be like Airtable, or it could be Google Sheets or something. Then it's passed into an AI assistant that perhaps does a SWOT analysis or something like that of this company. And then based on the SWOT analysis, compares it to the services you provide as a business and matches up the best way that your company can help this client. It saves that result in a report and maybe scores it, saves that into your knowledge management system, and then sends you the report to your email. So you get an email in, you check out the report, sense check it. If you're happy with it, you might send that on to the client and say, look, we've had a look, thanks for filling it in. This is how we think we can help you. This means they're getting a personalized response, really helpful for them, and you're not spending a lot of time on it until they actually become a client. So you're not wasting a lot of time. Now here, this is the final point. This is where the third trap comes in, because everybody else can do this too. Now, it's okay in the situation that I just described because it's there to serve the client, and this client here doesn't need to see the instructions in here. But any user interface at all can now be connected to one of these assistants. And this is where all the smoke and mirrors is coming in. And basically what is happening, there's a huge market where you take any form of user interface and you plug it into an AI assistant. And the market is basically creating apps or micro tools or chatbots or whatever it is to sell convenience to the AI illiterate. And the big danger of this comes down to the fundamental cornerstone of AI ethics, which is transparency. If you are using a third party or they're doing something for you outside your business, then there is no transparency. So you don't know what these instructions were. Now, remember that picture that came up on Instagram that looked like quite techie? It's fine for that business, but it's not for yours. So how do you become personalized to your customer and maintain your authentic voice if somebody else is managing your instructions? What happens if they close down, they pivot, they sell on? Also, they're selling the exact same service to everybody else. So it's really important for you to be in control of these. And this is why you really want to have your control of your own AI systems, knowledge managed in your company. And this is what I really encourage you to do. And this is trap number 3. And hopefully you can see now why those who are not using AI, or actually they're not using their own AI, they're using somebody else's, are going to have problems. So if you've got any form of business continuity plan or risk register stuff, this needs to be on with. Okay. So I don't want to give a problem without giving a solution. So I have put this mini course together to help you just check out your current level of AI literacy, go in, test it out, upskill yourself a little bit. It takes less than an hour, maybe a bit more if you really engage in some of the exercises. But this is where I'm quite passionate for sharing, as you can tell. So thank you very much. I have had some feedback already from people saying, can they forward this link on to other people because they kind of need to see it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. If somebody else can benefit from this, please send it to them. I am really, really passionate about people becoming very aware when it comes to AI. So I shall stop there, figure out how to stop sharing my screen, and be done.
Hi there, Dave. Thanks so much for that. That was fantastic. My mind is a little blown. I've dabbled in AI, but I don't really know what I'm doing at all. So I am immediately seeing so many possibilities. And I'm intrigued with how simple it looked, honestly. I
Yeah.
don't know, there was some intense programming that needed to happen on the back end to even configure a simple assistant like that. So I'm
No
definitely
problem.
going to be looking into this more. Tell us a little bit more about what technical skills are needed to be able to implement this sort of thing. And specifically, I'm curious, like, if you have just only the most basic sort of technical skills, like, you know how to use the internet and, all these things that
Mhm.
most of us know how to do, how far can you take this? What are the possibilities there? And what's kind of the limit where maybe you're going to need to know how to code or something like that to go further?
Yeah. So if it's really basic levels and you're just wanting to use just text, as it were, then you can do exactly what I just did. And if I had the time, I could have showed you mine. So I use ChatGPT. I just got a big list of them down the sides, for every single bits and bob. I just label them. I jump in. I'll take the output one and put it to the input the other. So there's still manual steps in copying and pasting from one to the other. So that's the kind of limit if you don't really want to go, if you're really technophobic, as it were. However, most people have more skills than they give themselves credit for. If you can do something like an email automation in something like ConvertKit or Kit or whatever they're calling it now, and set up funnels and all that sort of stuff, where you're applying logic, you're just setting parameters and applying logic. Then you can do the automation section that I showed when you create those chained events. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
Okay. And I'm curious about those chained events when you were talking about, maybe creating a GPT or an assistant that like drafts an email response to a customer email. How do those things get connected? Is this with like Zapier or something like that, or some
Yeah,
completely other sort of system?
absolutely. So what happens is, so when I showed you that window when I was creating the GPT, that's inside ChatGPT.
Mhm.
And in the course, I'll show you that ChatGPT is not actually an AI; it's just a user interface, and it points to a model, and that's what runs the model. Now, there's something called the OpenAI Playground, which looks very, very similar to ChatGPT, but it's technically for developers, it's really us nowadays because it's no code. And you just do the same thing and save it. But then you'll use something like Zapier, or I would actually recommend make.com to do this,
Okay.
where you will take a trigger event from like Gmail. So when something comes to your customer support at chiliandpurpose.com, then it triggers an event, sends that email to your assistant, then sends it back to your draft folder. So rather than sending it, you probably want somebody to check it out. But
Oh,
that's
sure.
it.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, one more question before we have to move on for the sake of time. I'm sure there's so much more we could get into, so I'm really glad you're providing that free course
Mhm.
for people to get started. I think that's going to be a great first step for everyone. And this was a great first taste. This was like the sample that whet
Mhm.
our appetite to learn more, right? It showed us
Yeah.
what's possible. So this was perfect. Okay, my last question is, out of all these different assistants that you've created, which ones are your most utilized? Which ones are your favorites?
Yeah, it goes through. It really matches the phase of your business. But recently, the most useful one that I've had is I created like a user panel with like avatars of my customer type. So if you went to a contract research organization, they would create like a workshop with different customer types of yours, and they would have like a UX, UI, somebody to manage it and stuff like that. I basically reconstructed that in a GPT. So I was
Mm.
doing things like A/B testing, marketing messages, and stuff like that. Then I run it through the panel. But the way I run it through the panel is I see all the discussion, so I get to see all the different perspectives and who likes what and why. So by going through that, I can see if I agree with the logic or not, and then it'll give me an answer at the back end saying, actually, this is the preferred one because it resonates better for X, and I can decide whether I agree with that or not. But I'm an overthinker. So this in the past, I've just gone racing around my head. I'd be like waking up at 3 in the morning going, oh, no, I should do this or that. And it's just the cognitive load is taken off of me to just get it all logically put out like that. It's been fantastic. So it's just having
Mhm.
a really good knowledge base and putting it in there. I find that so helpful.
Very interesting. Well, Dave, thank you. This has been a great session, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you too. Much appreciated.